Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining today's training sessions of Clearview Analytics. Avenue is really excited to reach out to our customers, especially right now. We are excited today to cover ways you can get insight into how your city's performing. Today, you're going to learn how to use Clearview to get an economic overview, see your top taxpayers, see how your city is performing versus the state, view a budget comparison, month-to-month budget change, monthly audits for city, and also, if you have any questions during the webinar, please go ahead and ask them using the chat feature, and we'll try to address them as we go. We'll also have a Q&A session at the end of the webinar. And now for introductions. Irene Reynolds is our Clients Relations Manager, will be doing the demo today. She has 20 years experience with Avenue and manages their Client Relations unit. Irene's team provides critical and complex analytics, forecasting, and reporting. She and her team clean and standardize raw sales data, create and maintain Geo Areas, as well as provide custom reports, charts, tables, and ad hoc reports on demand. Before joining the Client Relations team, Irene served as a team leader in the Data Intelligence Department, where she assisted in directing the data processing for all of Avenue's clients. And my name's Corrine Aycock. I'm on Avenue's marketing team and happy to serve as your moderator today. So with that, let's get started. Irene?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Irene Reynolds, Manager of Client Relations, and so happy that you have joined us today. We will be going over Clearview Analytics, and again, as Corinne has mentioned, please use our chat feature for any questions that you have. So today we are going to look at, when you first log into Clearview, you come to a landing page and it'll look similar to this. We are using a sample data analysis, so it's non-confidential.
Irene, we can't see your screen yet. We see a document, but we don't see your, just close that document, perhaps.
No, sorry. What if we do? Oh, goodness.
There we go.
Are you able to view my screen now? Okay. Sorry for the technical difficulty. Again, we will take a look at the landing page here. And the landing page actually tells a little story once you first get in by giving you these tiles with percentages and dollars. So quickly, the economic overview here will give you whether you are a gaining percentage or a decline percentage. For Sample City, we have an 8.3% gain for the current quarter versus the same quarter in the previous year. If you go diagonal here to the top 25, you'll notice here that $108,009.09 is generated by your top 25 sales tax generators. Looking at this box here, you'll see it's a jurisdiction versus the state. For clarification for many of our clients, it is what we call avenue state. So it is the data for those clients that we receive data for. So we call it avenue state rather than the state of Texas. And down here, we're looking at budget. If an individual submits their annual budget number, our development team will take that number and divide it by 4 for the 4 quarters of the year and do a comparison for you and let you know if you're on track throughout the year. Scrolling down, and this is very important, many individuals stop right here and think that's all that's available on their Clearview platform, but you need to scroll down. And once you scroll down, you'll start to see your monthly information. So this tile will tell you the current month compared to the previous year's same month. So here we have an increase of 20.9%. This number here comes from the state comptroller for city monthly audits, and it shows us what they have indicated that they're working on here, and we'll get into more detail later on. And this last one here is for non-payers. We have been asked several times by clients, how do we tell who has not paid us in the current month that paid us last year? And so we did a data set comparison for you to let you know we've taken the current data, compared it to the last year month, and checked its amounts and provide a number here based off of the previous year, same month numbers that were reported back then. Let's go into our data sets here. Clicking on the Economic Overview dashboard gives you a quick story. This is quarter 1, year 19, and the revenue. The previous year, same quarter, and its revenue, and the difference, and the percent change. We have a filter here which you can change the different timeline. You can decrease, notice the numbers, and as soon as you click off of the filter, you'll notice that the chart updates automatically. Also in the charts, you can deselect categories and then select a category that you're interested in looking at. Currently, in the state of that we're living in, a lot of people want to look at retail trade and see how that retail trade may be affected. You notice that the chart changes. So it's a great tool to use and to drill down. You also have, anytime there is a gray border around a chart, you'll notice in the left-hand corner is what we call a quick switch. We have what it says, a view for grid. We also have a down arrow for exporting. So I can change this to tabular information by clicking on the grid view. And there you go. You have dollars presented. This can be exported into Excel or PDF, and it's a true Excel. And then you can also switch it back to your chart. Scrolling down, you have categories that you may look at, and you can also filter. So we'll go here, we'll change, let's see, construction. It tells you the segments that are in the construction category. We'll click off, and you'll see how the trend is just for construction. You can pick multiple, so if we want to go to information, we want to go to retail trade, and click off, and you'll see the line chart has changed for your information. That also ends up populating your segment chart down below based off the filter that you had put in the categories And we also allow the filter to go down the screen with you so you can continue to change this as often as you would like. Again, if you want to select all, you click on that, notice that all the categories are have a check mark next to them, and all of these segments do as well. Then as you go down even further on your page, you can then have what we call the top taxpayer by revenue percent change. And we also have the revenue difference. This is the top 15. If you like business detailed information, you can click on details. So now the box is red, and you would have the taxpayer name. You would have their current dollars, last year, same quarter, dollars, the dollar difference, and the percent. You also have an opportunity to change the different quarters that you want to view, and it will update the data. Again, up in the left-hand corner, you can export to Excel. Many of our clients use this option because then they can actually slice and dice their data themselves, maybe for a presentation, or give feedback, to city manager, finance manager, of how certain businesses are performing. On to our next, we would click on the tile for top taxpayers, and it would give us a dashboard here. Looking at the dashboard, it immediately gives you the top performer, then its bottom performer. So we're going to scroll down and notice that we were looking at Acme _03916. It is here. So we can notice that it was at $41,000, and last quarter, same year, was 18. So there was a growth of $22,000.
So Irene, there are a lot of companies called Acme.
Yes. As we say, it has to be non-confidential.
That's right.
All right. So, also, we included a little tick mark on the side. So here, you know immediately, let's just say Target, Walmart, Macy's, Nordstrom, any of the big corporate businesses, you can see over on the tick immediately, is it up or is it down? How are we doing? Again, because there's a gray border, there would be a quick switch here so you can also export the information. You could also do the same for this one, and you can export as well. Our next tile we could click on would be the key comparison dashboard. This will be automatically populated, and it is containing non-confidential for all of the jurisdictions that we have been granted permission to have their data. You would see California data in it, you would see Texas data in it. For the presentation, we just added only 2 cities, so I'm simply typing sample, and I'm going to hit enter, and notice we have a Sample City East. So it's going to compare you to Sample City East. It populates the chart. I can change the filter to the timeline. So that big number that we saw earlier that showed there was a decrease by 2,000%, you could see why in the most current quarter, because Sample City went down and Sample City East, went up, and these are the only 2 in this data set, so that's why that 2,000% was on the landing page. Down below, it'll show you a little bit more of a comparison by percent. Again, you have that timeline if you need to change it. You have the quick switch since we have the border, again, around our charts. And that is all for the key comparison. Going into the budget dashboard. Here we have, like I said, if you desire to use this tile, you do have to submit to your client success manager your annual budget number. If you have it broken out by quarter, we can also enter those numbers for you. But normally we get submitted an annual number and we just divide it by 4. It'll show you your revenue and in the red line, and then your budget in the blue line, and see how you're doing compared to the revenue that's coming into your city. Down below here, we have a little comparison here, quick snapshot for you to look at. So it's the revenue and budget, the difference between, and the percent change here. We also have where you can change it by different quarters. So if you supply more than just one budget number for different years, we can enter that information for you as well. So then you can look at your historical performance and your current performance as well. These little bubbles here, if you hover over them, they're actually your categories, and it'll tell you the revenue associated with the category and the percent change. So we just thought we would give you just a little chart to tell you how your categories are being presented and the revenue associated with them. Again, you have your quick switch. We can change it over. We're looking at tabular information. You have the scroll bar on the very bottom, and you can scroll across.
Irene, when you do that, does that show the same information that was in the bubbles?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
You're also able to export it. So it can be into an Excel. So you can, again, you can change the format if you want to change the format when you export it.
Nice.
Okay. Again, we break it down just a little bit further into your segments. Same idea here. If you want to tick on tabular, you have your information here, the revenue and the percent change, the segment name up on top, and you do have the option to export it to Excel. Also, you can do the exporting of a PDF, and it'll export this chart. And once the export is done, you can do it to PDF or to Excel. In Excel, if you click on the tab, once it's exported and do unhide, it'll also contain the background data. So you'll end up getting this tabular information as well. But you have to remember to unhide it.
Hey, Irene, we have a question. For the budget dashboard, do we just need to submit the total sales tax revenue and not the total budget revenue?
No, it's the budget for the city, for the jurisdiction. And then the revenue actually comes from the data that we receive from the comptroller.
All right, thank you. And then when you export the chart like that, I see there's a upper right-hand corner filters. Can you apply the filters before you export? Can you manipulate it?
You can.
A bit?
Yes, you can. So here you have, right now it's selected all categories. If I just wanted to do information, click off, you'll see the information dot here. You can change to tabular. It only has the information category here. And then what it does down below is that it updates the segment for all the segments that actually fall into that information category. You have your tabular as well. And you could even update here. Notice it holds onto your filters from up above.
That is great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Scrolling down, you have business detailed information. Again, you have your category. We were on retail trade, so it'll give you your taxpayer, your category, the current dollars associated with that business, the prior dollars for the same quarter previous year, the dollar difference, and the percent change. Again, you have your quick switch here for exporting and to change it to a chart if you'd like. The next tile that we'll talk about is the monthly cash changes report. You have a filter up on top as well, so you can drill down to your categories and segments if you'd like. This is citywide. You see the current revenue is in blue, and the prior revenue is in red here. Scrolling down, you get a quick view of the comparison of the current year, or I should say current month, to the prior month, same year, the difference in the percent change. You're able to select here different months. You can change this into tabular information if you'd like. Apply a filter if you'd like. It continues down into the segments. If you hold your Shift key down, I thought I did it just a little bit ago. Let me see. Oh, it's not doing. Sorry. I thought you could select multiple categories at the same time. And then down below, as well as your taxpayer detailed information based off the filter that you selected up above. If you want to go back to all categories, so this is your monthly for March 19. Notice it grabs the information from this selector up here. So if you want to change it to January, notice that the taxpayer detail changes to January for you. Again, we always have the option to export or to change it to a chart.
How would you change it to a chart?
So we can do this. And because it's so many, and the chart looks like this, but if you use your filter, you want to look at the administrative support.
Oh.
Okay. We want to look at retail. There's your retail chart for your businesses and the dollar amounts associated with them. Or we go back to tabular. So it really depends on how you want to use this data. So if you have a presentation coming up and you're going to be talking about the retail trade, you can make a chart easily by using your filter and show them, you know, this is what our retail trade looks like right now, you know, based off the selector time period from up above. The next is the cash audits. Again, this is information that's provided from the comptroller. So the red is an audit, so there is a correction in this data that we're using. So just to represent, the blue is just the regular revenue for each of the categories. And then we provide the taxpayer detailed information showing that there was an audit for A, so there was a correction and the revenue associated with it. Again, you can chart it, tabular, export it, and you have your quick comparison here. We also have Taxpayer Search available. You can look up by economic or by cash. I'm going to kick off your economic. Also going to kick off the geos and your forecast scenario tools. Here in your Taxpayer Search, you are able to enter a business name. You're able to enter an address, a permit number if you know the permit number. Let's just say, which is already on screen, but it pops up like this when you enter it. You can look up multiples, so it will allow you to enter more than just one. It gives you a 3-year payment history. You have your timeline here. You can change this.
And just to reiterate, so our customers can pick specific business names.
Yes, yes. So some are wondering, you know, how did Macy's do, or how are they doing? How's Walmart doing in the current data? What is it showing? In the coming months, especially for our Texas clients, you'll get to see how the COVID-19 has affected the sales tax by looking at specific businesses. And, you know, every jurisdiction is different. So, and they have, you know, different top taxpayers that they may want to key in and be keeping an eye on to see how the sales tax dollars for their city is declining, or maybe because of the state of mind right now, some people are, you know, constantly still going to stores and trying to hoard product, and you might even see an uptick in some of the stores, you know, Target or Walmart or whatnot. We'll see as soon as we get more data in the coming months. So this will be interesting for that.
And we have another question, Irene. What would a permit number be related to?
So a permit is the actual sales tax permit number. So any business that is selling a tangible item should have a sales tax permit opened or an account with the comptroller, and they should be reporting sales tax. Some people have memorized a sales tax permit because it's a certain business they always look into. Usually it's an analyst that's doing research for someone that, you know, has a list of permits that they look at. So that number would go in here, but it's for any business that's selling tangible goods.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. The next would be the Geo Areas. Some of our clients have elected to have Geo Areas. This is comes at an additional cost. And when we have a geo set up, we request shape files from our jurisdictions. And the shape files will be highlighted on this screen here. And because it's a data set, a sample data set, we don't have highlighted information on our web page here for the mapping. However, let's just say this little area that's highlighted for San Carlos it would be pink or it would be yellow, saying I want to look and study this specific area. We give the opportunity with that. You would select your geo area over off to the side, and then you would select the categories that you would want to look at, or all the categories here. If you do not select to have geo mapping, there is called Geo Reports. That is also an extra cost, and it is tabular information instead. You don't get the mapping tool. Again, you can select what you want to view, and it'll give you the businesses, their segment category, and the dollars and the percent change for those dollars.
Irene, we have a question. In the comparison section, can we save our typical filters, or are they selected each time they log in?
They're reset on every login, so no, you can't save. You can't save your selections.
Okay, so
they have to reselect them each time. Yeah, you can't save your preference at this time.
All right, thank you.
Good question. The next and final is the predictive analytics, or the forecast scenario. So here we use what is called a champion challenger model. And it's using 4 different statistical methods, and the method uses the best one that matches your past behavior. The blue line here is the city mean, and the dotted lines here and down here are called confident bands. So the first set, which is the darker line, will say it's 85% confidence that your revenue will fall somewhere in between these bands, and as you go out further, it's 95%. We also have the adjustment tool here. And you also have a time frame, so you can change this time frame of your chart if you'd like. And let's say that the retail is going down. And we'll say that food is also going down a little bit. Miscellaneous is going up. You have your dollars here on the side, and we'll click Apply. It will then do its calculation. You'll see it change just a little bit, but it also gives you what you change down below. So this is a tool that you can play with, especially in the COVID-19 times that we're in right now. You can also say reset, and it'll place it back to where it was as the default. That is Clearview in a nutshell. If there are further questions or you would want a one-on-one training with a jurisdiction, please contact your CSM, your Client Success Manager, and we can set an appointment. I know a lot of people like to go over their own data, and so that is also available to you. We are here to assist you and help you during these times that are uncertain. Do we have any other questions?
My apologies, I was on mute. So it doesn't look like we have any other questions. And yes, this has been recorded, and we will send that out to you. And Irene, thank you so much for the forecasting piece. Was, I think, extra beneficial right now. We actually had a customer who recently was able to analyze results and saw that they had a downturn in retail sales, but the uptick in groceries, they were able to forecast a 3% decline for April. So being able to manipulate the numbers with what's going on is really, really important right now. So thank you for sharing that.
My pleasure.
And I don't see any other questions at this time. Thank you everyone so much for taking time out of your busy day and joining us for our training. If you have any questions, please reach out to your CSM. If you need any help with credentials, please either email succeed@avenueinsights.com or irene.reynolds@avenueinsights.com, and we will get you set and going. And everyone, please stay safe and healthy. Thank you so much.